Hey, welcome to the Mostly Skateboarding Podcast. I'm your host, Jason from Frozen and Carbonite, and I'm joined this week by Mike Munzenreiter and Patrick Kangago to talk about a roundup of some recent goings-on in the skate world. But first, last Friday, Antwaun Dixon rocked the skate world by dropping his first full street part since Baker Has a Death Wish all the way back in 2008. Y'all know we love to talk about context on this program. So, Patrick, how does the context of Antwaun's journey enhance this event? Because it was an event. You know what I mean? People went apeshit.
Yeah, absolutely. And rightfully so. So, to provide some context for the people out there on the internet, all of us on the Mostly Skateboarding Podcast attended Slow Impact this past February in beautiful, insanely hot Tempe, Arizona. And on the first day, the keynote discussion was with Antwaun Dixon, who requested that no cameras be present so that he could speak freely. And Antwaun really delved into the depths of his soul to talk about his experiences, his trials and tribulations with addiction, with being locked up, drifting away from skateboarding, coming back to skateboarding, getting knee surgery, and working on some things and providing us with insight with what he's been doing all this time and also how he's been rekindling his love of skateboarding. So that very, very, very special conversation with him and Spencer from Village Psychic, coupled with a Thrasher cover. And this, I think it shows not only is he back, very similar to what we said about Guy Mariano last week. This is somebody who recognizes how special skateboarding is and is giving it as much as he physically can. And so this was wow. Like this was, first of all, plus 1,000,000 points for skating to Cat Stevens because it's melancholic, it's reflective, and it shows, Antwaun definitely does have a meditative vibe about him these days. He talks a lot about journaling and taking time to meditate, to pray, to kind of to recenter himself and to focus. And I think he acknowledges that on one hand, there's a lot of bad shit that's happened in his life, right? A lot of stuff that's out of his control and also some stuff that he's responsible for. And so the combination of skating at this level, and he's still hucking, but also with the Cat Stevens, I mean, dang. And Cat Stevens is also somebody, Cat Stevens, who also goes by Yusuf Islam, who was wilding in the 70s. The reason why he turned to religion was because he almost drowned off the coast of Brazil while he was living there during tax exile. He was someone who decided to change his whole shit up and devote his life to something else. I mean, Mike, Jason, you both were at Slow Impact, got to kick it with Antwaun all weekend long. How does this part feel within the context of getting to kick it with him at Slow Impact, hearing him speak about his life?
Yeah, Antwaun was definitely outside all weekend. Definitely a cool cat. Yeah, I kind of wish I had just recorded the Q&A for my own personal viewing.
Just to be clear, like he said, no video recording, not no cameras. We got to take pictures, but Jason, you were saying, sorry.
Right. So, yeah, I kind of found it hard to remember some parts of it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I was thinking before. Well, first off, this is kind of like, remember how like when Guy Mariano came back and fully flared, that was like a thing for all the 90s and Gen X skaters.
Yeah, of course.
This is like very, very similar for like the Baker generation, the kids that were like, 14 to 18 when Baker Bootleg, Baker 2, Baker Has a Death Wish, all that kind of shit came out. And the Cat Stevens, y'all know me, I'm more into the more aggro music, but I think it really worked this time. That definitely reminded me of Rodney Mullen and Questionable. Kind of like the flip side of it, like the song in Questionable is really hopeful, and this song, Trouble or whatever it's called, it's called Trouble, it's kind of like more like looking back, reflective kind of thing. And in the issue of Thrasher where he's on the cover is really dope. You should definitely check it out. A lot of 12-step knowledge in there. Probably the most in any interview I've ever read. So that's definitely like a piece of this whole thing. So I would definitely check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, Jason, I know that, like, do you have any interest in talking about your own? Yeah, I mean, you on Twitter when the video part came out, you said, shit, I don't remember, but maybe you remember what was it? I mean, you had like a 2-word phrase for it.
Oh, it was a triumph.
Yeah, I mean, so I think you're 5 years sober. Yeah, and I feel like, Antwaun's on like a similar timeline.
Also 5 years.
Just tell me, like, shut the fuck up, Mike, if I'm overstepping my bounds. But one of the reasons that this was kind of like a blinking green light was, like you said on Twitter, this is a triumph. And I think it was, we all got to see him in Arizona at the event, but like it seems like it hit you on a level.
I definitely relate to a lot of the stuff he talks about in the interview about like having a routine, skating, going to a meeting, blah, 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 and like the whole like nothing changes subtitle or whatever. That's a 12-step thing too. So yeah, it was really dope. I mean, like, yeah, I talked to Antwaun about it at the at Slow Impact, and yeah, good shit.
What of the skating? Because the skating was fucking dope in the part. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite trick he did was it's at the courthouse. I feel like sometimes on Twitter it's categorized as like the West LA courthouse, Santa Monica courthouse. He does a nose slide 270 nollie heel the other way. That was my favorite trick in it. Like, what do we think about the skateboard output?
Yeah, still same old Antwaun, like still that same style. Like he talks about in the interview, like I think Burnett interviewed him. He was like, "Oh, how was it trying to skate after 4 years or whatever?" Antwaun was like riding a bike,
Yep.
like those kind of like quirky things. Like he does that switch frontside heel like up a curb, but he does it like with a pivot.
Yeah, it's like a heel flip turn.
Yeah,
Switch
like
heel turn.
what? Like when was the last time you saw that? You know what I mean? That's crazy. Just shit like that. And like he's so light footed, like he does like a backside nollie heel down like 12, and it barely makes a sound when he lands. Like it's crazy.
He's nonchalant in his style. That's the thing that it's hard to replicate, because it feels like when anybody else does it, it feels like you're just ripping off Antwaun. Now there was an interview in Thrasher with a younger skater whose name evades me, a younger Japanese skater who they said like, "Oh, you're the Japanese Antwaun," which it felt like it was felt ham fisted, and I think, and rightfully so, a lot of people complained about that interview on Slap, on Twitter, in the group chats and things like that. But Antwaun is Antwaun. He has a unique style. And what's interesting is that he had reconstructive surgery on his ACL. So this is Antwaun post physical, post physical therapy and recovery from what is still a major surgery. It's one that is become much more commonplace and has a faster recovery time, but it's still an ACL up until about 20 years ago was a career-ending injury in any sport or activity. The thing I actually liked the most is probably the thing that was the most flippant, and even the angle I think was weird, was the one-footer at Wallenberg.
Oh, dude, what's so cool about that is that, he's coming back from, the depths, the deepest depths, and you can I enjoyed the video part so much because it was really fucking good, and then I had, even after seeing him at Slow Impact, I had no expectations. Like I had no expectations isn't correct. I had a lack of expectations. And when you're coming from that place, you can do a ollie slip foot down Wallenberg, which would be really stupid to do and scary. I mean, what? He's 37. He's late 30s. He's, not that much younger than any of us on this podcast. Like, dude, go do it. Like, okay, he hopped down Wallenberg, and a lot of guys would be happy to ollie it, and then he like kicked his foot off.
Yeah,
That's so fucking good.
last weekend at Street League, he was not in the competition, but he was at the jam, and he did the same thing. Like Antwaun is back to actually no, he's not back. This is a brand new lane for him. Reminding people of who he was as a skater and reintroduce. It's kind of like allow me to reintroduce myself. And what's also great about it too is his conversation at Slow Impact, the interview. He talks about some really wild shit, and his conversation at Slow Impact got extremely dark. He talked about being locked up. He talked about being away from skating. He talked about being confronted by, other people who were in for significantly longer spells of time, for longer sentences, and people telling him like, "What are you doing in here?" Which, like the way that
They knew
he
who he was, and they were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
his willingness to talk about that at Slow Impact, I think, was really phenomenal. And to have that type of vulnerability, not just to talk about his journey through recovery, but then to also talk about a lot of the really harder stuff. He talks about how, the anniversaries of his parents' deaths, deaths and, amongst his friends, like how this has a profound effect on him, and realizing it's like, this is why, part of the reason why sometimes I'd end up acting up, because, it's the anniversary of my mom's death. And because, especially when this happens when you're younger, it's one thing when you are when you're older, an older person in your 50s, 60s, hopefully your parents get to live a long time, but to lose your parents in your 20s and 30s is hyper disruptive, in many, many, many ways. And like, his willingness to talk about that as it related to his journey through addiction and eventually now through recovery. This is like this is some wild shit. Like it's really, 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 really hard. Like we celebrate the success stories of people entering recovery, getting back on the board and skating at a high level. But there's also a lot of stories where like shit doesn't work out, quite the way it plans. Like there's a world in which this doesn't happen. And to see Antwaun not only skating at a high level, but he was previously banned from Baker Boys. Now he's at Baker Boys, skating the park all the time. And someone who we need to really, if we want to talk about giving somebody their flowers, Beagle. Let's talk about that. Beagle deserves a shout out for maintaining that friendship and being that link, being that big homie for Antwaun.
Absolutely. But before we get to that, I just want to hit that one point you were talking about before about, recovery, making a comeback, coming from a dark place. Yeah, like everyone loves, like a comeback, definitely the feel good story of the year, but especially in skating, there's like dozens of stories of, super talented people that like didn't make it back. You know what I mean? Like either they, lost the battle with addiction or kind of like fell into a super dark place and that kind of thing. So that's definitely a thing also in our culture.
Yeah, like that's some real shit. Like, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why people celebrate the success stories, to be like, yo, like, we're happy to have you back in any capacity.
Yeah. I mean, it's that old, like it's the biggest cliche in the world. Like people just want to see you skate,
Well, and
but
that's
it's
why
true.
that
Like,
part. Uh, Sorry, Jason,
no,
I
you're good.
spoke over you. Yeah, it's just like I think it was, a victory for people who just want to see you skate. For anybody out there who, battling anything or not, these skaters that we love, we want to see you on a skateboard. And the Antwaun Dixon part that just came out was so rad because he's just as good as he was, which is a really hard thing to attain. I mean, he's not. God, how old was he? In that it was the Baker 3 part in 2005. Like he was mad young and Springer and built a little different, but like he still looked like himself, which is very cool because I don't know. I was talking about jumping down stuff, and that doesn't always translate when you're in your later 30s. Maybe I'm just repeating myself. It's such a victory, and I think it really, like, we have a certain kind of sentimental feeling about it because we got to see him talk.
And not just talk, like he didn't just talk. Like the very first night of Slow Impact. So I got a photo of Jason and Antwaun just standing in the parking lot before I let them to, go and chat amongst themselves. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is absolutely wild,
Yeah.
right? 10 years ago, that was unthinkable. You figured out, okay, Antwaun just piled out, and Jason, to your point, actually, to both of y'all's point, yeah, like there's a lot of people who didn't make it, who never got back on board, or worse. And so to have skaters like that, not just returning, but returning in form. Oh my goodness. Like it absolutely has to be, it absolutely has to be celebrated. And I think also because something else that's to be talked about, this is an FTP part, fuck the population. Like this is a brand that's been working with Anton, fucking with Anton for quite some time now. And I think part of Antwaun's return to skateboarding is centered around him getting to do shit on his terms, not being reduced to a cartoon character, right? And skating when he wants, how he wants. I mean, I don't even know what the deal is for him sponsorship wise. But Jason, as you said earlier, like, he's got his routine. I got the gym, I got training. He hits meetings, he journals, he's, this is him in Zen mode right now. I feel like everybody should be sending him boxes, whoever they are. I mean, I'm like, yo, people out there in Shoeland, I know things are crazy right now, but out of anybody out there, there's a lot of people who, deserve boxes. Antwaun should be in the top 3 of that list. And he's not number 3 or number 2.
It looked like he was wearing those Stray shoes. I don't know if that's Jamie Thomas's brand or what.
Still? I thought he was doing something else.
Yeah, it was like Warsaw. Does that sound right?
I guess so. I mean,
something like that.
What isn't
in any event, it looked like those Stray shoes. But no, yeah, I mean,
it's
anybody,
what Dane Vaughn wears,
yeah, like jumping down 12, 13 stairs if you're like 37, 38 years old is a lot, and to do it after you were not really skating that much for a long time is crazy.
It's sick that he's built for that. I was also just thinking about, I mean, granted, I'm 44. Like both my femurs would break if I.
You like your whole it's like I think my whole body would explode if
my pelvic. Like I don't know the anatomy of it, but I'd be like a shit. What do you do to a chicken? Yeah, oh god,
splay
spatch. I would spatchcock my ass if I tried to jump down the things he was
like
down.
Like in a cartoon when there's like a flat chicken, like a chicken gets run over by a truck.
Yeah,
or something.
Dude, it'd be terrible because he's what was so cool was that he jumped down some stuff, and what was also very cool about it was that friends from Slow Impact filmed him because he kind of got egged on. I say that jokingly because he wanted to jump down some shit, but people were filming him in Arizona. I think Scottsdale and Tempe clips got in there where he did some shit and they ended up in the finished product. Like that guy was very centered and on top of his game. I don't know, like just in terms of skating.
Again, yeah, wait. Cool I was wondering about that because I think at one point at Slow Impact, I think it was at night, some guy comes on the microphone and he's like, "Just so y'all know, Antwaun said she has a double set today," and everyone was like, "Ah." So if that Switch Heel double set is the one in the video, that's pretty tight.
Yeah,
I think so.
It gotta be, right?
Nobody announced my little tricks, but that was cool. That's all right.
Just so you know, Mike Munzer rider pivot fakie the quarter.
Yeah.
We got angles.
God damn it. All right, fine.
But he is being celebrated. But you know what the thing is, again, like very similar to Guy Mariano, his enthusiasm is infectious. We are happy to see him happy. He's radiating joy.
All right, all due respect to Guy, our happy 50th birthday in a week, Mariano, like Antwaun Dixon's a personality and he's a vibe, and I think that's why I think we care. I want to stop comparing him to Guy. It's just like that dude was fucking cool at that panel where our rival. No, he's not a rival podcaster, but like Spencer Gillespie from Village Psychic and or Crooked Skateboards brand manager, interviewed him, did an insane job. Props to Spencer. And I think that, we got a whole different dimension of Antwaun Dixon than probably at least 85% of the people there had. Like, you know, he was a personality on video, and then he was a personality in real life, and that goes like a million miles further than just I get okay. Stop beating around the bush. Like, you know, he was kind of a like a entertaining fuck up on video for a long time, and then he was gone. And he was on the Thrasher cover with all the tattoos, and he was kind of like this. I don't know.
It was a cartoon version of himself. He became
It
a
was
caricature.
yeah. It was a negative caricature, I would say, to just like, you know, really boil it down. And then he was like a fully fleshed out human person, and you're like, whoa, fuck, this dude is deep and struggles like I do, like any of us do, and now I'm rooting for him, which is, you know, really, I think, the case in like 95% of all skateboard meetups. If you could watch a million hours of someone skateboarding on video, and they could, you know, be focusing boards and spitting on pedestrian, like doing the shittiest stuff. And then you meet them in real context, and they're probably pretty nice, unless they were spitting on pedestrians. Like, nobody's ever done that. I guess my point is that, like, you get these preconceived notions of dudes, and then you meet them, and everybody's great. Men and women, everybody's great in skateboarding because that's how it works.
Well, I think the other thing to point out there too is that he, Antwaun is now he's engaging with skateboarding completely on his terms, and that's exciting.
Patrick, let me ask you: was he at Street League just kind of hanging out?
Yeah, just
That
doing
kind of
his
thing?
thing, just doing it like
That's
that's the
dope.
thing. He's like, he's not just back, but like, he's, like I said, he's back on his own terms. He's back on his own terms, and I think that's, again, that's what's he's radiating joy. He's not, you know, I always think about the great poet and American football player Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Antwaun is here because he wants to be here. And when you see that in a skater, an athlete, a musician, whoever, it's noticeable. And it is something that it's palpable, and it's exciting, and it's the kind of thing that makes you want to grab your board and go do something. It's inspiring, straight up.
Oh, dude, if he didn't want to put himself out there, the last place on earth he'd want to have been was Slow Impact. Because, like, you know, I don't know, it was outside Cowtown where I stopped him. You know, one of us wanted to cross the street, one of us wanted to cross the other way, and I'm like, hey man, really appreciate you putting yourself out there. It's so dope. Congratulations. What's your favorite trick you ever done?
What?
I said that. He didn't ask me that. Like, and he answered. It was I think it was, yeah, the switch heel. It's a 6 or 7 stair, and then a long flat, and then like a 2 or 3. And now I'm forgetting what video part it was in because I want to be accurate. I think it was probably Baker 3, or when you say or, it could be any other video part. But it's a long, it's a tall, long, weird double set, and that was his favorite trick.
It's in like a corridor or something. It's like inside.
Yeah, I'm now like blanking on all specifics just so that I don't say anything wrong. But
Yeah.
you know, I got to be like, hey dude, thank you for being here. I also was wondering, what's your favorite trick you've ever filmed? And he was gracious. And to, you know, circle back to my original point, like the radical openness of just being at this place where every third person you see is not going to be a civilian. They're going to be a skater, and they're going to be the nerdiest skater you've ever met again. And here they are asking you dumb questions. And he was gracious as hell. It was a switch heel down a tall, long double set.
Man, even the civilians I met out there were like down with skating or knew what
Skating's
was up.
different on
Yeah.
the West Coast.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
even Arizona's not necessarily West Coast, but uh,
Southwest.
Southwest, like Cowtown in Tempe has. I definitely talked to the owner whose name is escaping me, but he's like, yeah, I've got 1,000 boards on the wall. I want to make sure anyone can get everything they want, and he does. Like it's more boards. It's roughly 10 times more boards than any skate shop in Minnesota has ever had.
It's Laura who's the general manager. It's Laura and Ed. But anyway, back to that question of the Southwest. Like Tempe, Phoenix area is a hub. It is. It's an incubator of skateboarding, and again, like people, it's just much more visible. I had a classmate who moved out to Arizona when we were teenagers, and he came back to visit us in the suburbs of New York one summer. And good God, like within a year, this dude like was hitting handrails first try because he was getting to skate those big at the time, brand new, late '90s, early 2000s Arizona skate parks with lights all night long and just skating nonstop, unbossed, unbothered, and came back different. Like it is indeed different. And yeah, he Antwaun is, and also with regard to Street League, it was a full bore heat wave this past weekend. Like it was unseasonably hot. It was pushing 90 degrees in the Arts District, downtown LA near the 6th Street Bridge. Big graffiti area over there. Very little shade. Like Antwaun was shirtless, tattoos, free form. Like it was a hot one. It was a sold out event, by the way.
Huh.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, it was lit. I got to meet Julio de la Cruz, who was super super cool. He's out, he's doing shit. He's cooking right now. But back to Antwaun, like he's here because he wants to be, and again, that kind of sentiment is palpable. This is going to sound very woo woo West Coast, but vibes are important, and he's giving off the vibe that he is present, he is in the moment, and he's happy to be back in skateboarding, and so skateboarding is reciprocating accordingly. The only other question I have about Antwaun is, okay, drop this part, it's lit. What's next?
I don't even think he has to answer that. He's got to live day to day, and it's dope to have him.
I don't know. This part of me just wonders. Some company's got to take him. Somebody's got to.
Well, he seems pretty into the FTP thing.
Yeah, or maybe it's like maybe like center the brand around him.
Who also sponsor Max B.
Yo, he's free. He's home, and he's wavy.
He's outside next.
Did he? May 20. Guy who... Go ahead.
The Silver Surfer.
May 28th, Richmond, Virginia. Max B and French Montana.
What
in concert?
What? I hope. Please tell me you're going.
See y'all there.
He's the guy who cursed Kevin Durant.
No, that's Lil B.
The based god.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, thank you, based god.
I got things mixed up.
It's like the fact that Max B is home and him and French Montana are going on tour. Like, yo, like New York is back. Like that's old. Like it's not old New York, but it's a New York that's been gone for a minute and it's back, and it's very exciting. And the fact that Max B is free and Antwaun is doing his thing and skating, it brings me so much joy.
And now comes our miscellaneous topic roundup, starting with Sour Skateboards, the Sour Solution 3.3. Yes, it's a comma, but as I see in the notes here, the comma is used as a decimal point on the European continent. Sour exists on the borderline between Eurotech and kind of weird spot whimsy. This time, Gustav Tonneson takes a backseat, hands the camera off to Fried Soderstrom, among others. I think there were like 3 people that filmed it. Mike, do the new videographers keep the sour vibe going?
So I'm locked out of my notes because of a ancient MacBook Air ongoing snafu. Complain about this computer to my wife constantly. Triple videographer, I didn't notice. Those guys are all very adept with whatever the latter day, pseudo VX1000 is. First homie, Martin Van Buren. not the former president, but like the Euro kid from Northern Europe. Fakey backside 5-0 through the corner.
Yeah,
Very
that was
good.
crazy. Yeah, he was my favorite guy too. He was the most like traditional ledge tech
Yeah, so
out of everybody.
I wanted to call these guys Eurotech. Shit, I wrote down a better phrase than this.
Wait,
Like
wait, I got it
well,
because I
tilt
remember.
mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Please say it for me because you have the quote.
tilt Modi strain of Eurotech, which I thought was good.
Tilt Modi.
Yeah,
Modi. Yeah. Yeah, like Sour is great. I feel like their videos can be a little overlong sometimes. So 3,3 was really up my alley and being 13 minutes long. Uh I don't know, there's that kid in his underwear, which is a little ultra for me, but yeah, I like this. It's like really good skaters who are a little goofy, skating well. The music's funny too. Shit, I could like write an essay. Like in this essay, I will say why. Yeah, they're tilt modi, but it's like this weird European angle that I don't quite get. Again, it goes back to like the song in the Martins part where it's kind of like this is some like weird European, like Polish cartoon shit that you're
yeah, I
skating
know.
to.
Yeah, it's like Eastern Bloc,
Yeah,
something.
I'm so glad you even relate to that in any way, shape, or form. But skating's always good. Never seen a sourboard in the US. They rip. They make great videos. Gustav, though, damn. Anybody else pick up? I've been talking for a while.
These, yeah, another thing. These guys always have some good spot porn in their videos. I don't know where they find these fucking spots. Like, there's like a steep transition, like black marble thing with the ledge on it, and like that there's like mellow banks like going down some like boardwalk next to a river or something. Then like so one of y'all mentioned this spot. It's like a corrugated metal Philly step with
Yep.
like a bank on each side.
Yeah. It's
What
Oh
the hell?
yeah.
What the hell is that, dude?
I don't know. I think it's an entrance to a playground. This guy called Oscar Safstrom, who does a switch backside 180 across it, and he does it very light-footed in a Bobby Pulio kind of way. Who else stood out? I mean, obviously Gustav. Yo, by the way, Gustav, they should just make the Aloha his shoe. No disrespect to Mark Gonzalez, but he makes the Aloha Supers look amazing. In it, especially Adidas, send us some Y3 socks, man.
Yo, I got to shout out Carl in that video, who is probably a guy who everybody knows who is who or something. But he did at the end of a good line, he did some other stuff, and I'm like, oh, he could have ended, and then he did a ollie 1 foot back tail straight out, and it was like a very kicked out ollie 1 foot. That was great. Only named Carl in the video, so Carl, call me.
Yeah, this was it's like this is a nice appetizer video. It's the right length. 11 minutes is like just enough to be like, okay, like it's a good getting ready video. Like I'm tying my shoes, I'm looking up, seeing something cool. I will say this though, Simon Halberg skating in his underpants kind of remind me of Bill Weiss.
Well, Bill Weiss.
I've heard both, but I've heard
Yeah,
Weiss as well. But yeah, dog.
Weiss never had his underpants on.
Oh, true, yeah.
White booty, white booty,
But I will say,
translucent booty.
but skating to Spandau Ballet though, that was an excellent choice.
That was a good song.
Yeah, that's a good song, but I'm gonna be that guy. Stan Carbine already skated to it in $14 the hard way. Shout out Smalls.
That's a Richmond video or what?
DC video.
Come on, man.
Thank you.
Shout out to the DMV.
Come on, man. Like I don't know.
Shout out to the 202.
I'm gonna make a tall claim. I used to know everything until about 7 years. No, let's go 10 years ago. And now I don't. I just don't fucking know anything anymore. It's okay.
I haven't thought about
You mean
that video.
you mean like you mean you don't know every local and shop video that's come out ever in all time?
I mean, yeah. At one point, my brain was really annoying, and now it's a little better. Yeah.
Hard hitting question. Nissa Ingemarsson Are we over dark slides and videos?
Which one was that, though?
They tried to juice it too hard. Like, yeah,
I think that was a good
I don't
one,
care
though.
anymore.
Like down a long thing.
No. If your name's not Rodney Mullen, shout out to Rodney Mullins.
Or
Jerry Sue.
After I watched 3,3, which I think we should call it as American assholes, 3,3. I got an old Gustav video from like 10 years ago. He didn't have the man bun and his hair was crazy. It was sick. He did a switch flip front dark slide pop out, and I'm like, all right, yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, this video kind of reminded me of how sick Sour is, and made me want to go back and watch like the first couple, which are because they're like so fucking legendary.
Shout out to the Sour Solution.
But what did Ingmar Bergesen? That's a snowboarder, but I'm using his name. What was the dark slide though? It was the long one.
Yeah, it was a long joint.
It was on like a really short curb.
I mean, it was just like a basic like frontside half kick flip, like.
Yeah, there was nothing really crazy to it.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I feel like that was a dork trick in a video replete with pseudo tech dork tricks, but yeah, even in the Sour video setting, it was just a dork trick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I think, you know what it is? We need what's the word? We need a moratorium. Just 2 years.
I mean, Jim Greco died for our dark side sins. Dark slide. I should enunciate it if I'm trying to make a joke, but
did he do a bunch of them? Did he do a bunch of them in that part where he skated to Slayer?
I don't watch any latter-day Jim Greco things because I'm just not that interested in him. But I don't know. He had like didn't he have a Thrasher interview where he had a dark slide on a bench?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Mr. Cassavetes. Like I like his John Cassavetes era.
Dog talking it out. Like, did he have a dark slide on the bank to bench at 7th Street? It's disqualifying just to say it out loud.
I don't know.
I'm almost certain that was in that video part where he skated to Slayer.
I mean, it also might be 15 years old. What I'm talking
like,
about.
Who knows how old anything is anymore? Like, it might be 5 years old. It might be 13 years old. Like,
global pandemic. We now have like I used to say the endless war was not a real thing, but now it is.
I mean, what fucked. Is time? Time continues to reveal itself to be a flat circle. You know what's wild? Like the Artemis mission, doing the loop around the moon. Artemis. Sorry, but
yeah, no, we're going so loose. I just needed to make sure Artemis 2 around the moon. Patrick.
It's like it feels like that should be, but I feel like that should be the center of every conversation. But there's so much other bad shit happening at the personal, political, geopolitical level. And something that hit me was that was the exact same state of the world in 1969 when, the Apollo 11 mission happened. Men first walked to the moon. It was just like, I always think about that the Gil Scott Heron poem, "Whitey on the Moon."
Whitey, yeah. Well, Patrick, I got some good news for you.
Hit me.
The Philadelphia skate community finally got a win when Municipal Plaza was recently redesigned and remodeled as a legal skate plaza type place. Patrick, what does this mean not just for Philly, but for skaters nationwide?
I think it's a step in the right direction. And there's an interesting quote from a Slap All-Star, Slap Pal, backside_frontside, who said, "Fuck, I can't wait to skate this. Can't believe Philly did something right for once. Huge accomplishment for those involved and an even huger win for the skaters of Philly and beyond." Because look, here's the thing. You can have a 10-page long debate on Slap in the group chat, whatever, but having a spot where you can go, post up, and not get hassled and be able to skate most of the day, if not whenever you want, especially now that the Cecil spot in Philly has become only accessible to Temple University students, dog, like this is a massive W. And I think it should also serve as a big proof of concept to other cities with legendary skate spots that, hey, you can clean these places up and make them nice for skaters and make them someplace that skaters can feel comfortable chilling in, as opposed to just redeveloping them and making them look like dog shit, which is what the city of Philadelphia did to Love Park. That shit is an embarrassment.
Well, what's interesting about this move is that, yeah, they were like, all right, we're nuking Love. You know, didn't DC Shoes famously offer them $1 million to
A million
$1
dollars
million.
25 years ago.
$1 million? You know, municipal budgets aren't, you know, that's a decent amount of money. Maybe not for Philadelphia, but you know, they were famously, you know, hostile to skating, and for them to make a legal skate spot at a cool place, I think that's like the key thing for me is like, oh, we can skate at a place that is cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that, because usually with skate parks and that kind of thing, it's like under a bridge. No disrespect to Burnside or any other park under a bridge, but you know, or like that one park in DC on like some like just like field in the middle of nowhere out by RFK that no one uses. So yeah, it's right.
The Maloof Park.
Yeah, the Maloof Park. It's in the middle of the city, and like this is, I think this is the new blueprint. Like we'll talk about it with the small banks too a little bit, but like you get a nonprofit, connect with the people, you know, in the municipal government who call the shots with this kind of thing, partner with some corpo entity like a shoe brand. Apparently you got to make a big PowerPoint or what do they call it? Like a slide deck?
Yeah, you got to make a deck and a presentation. But here's the thing.
Gotta have that deck.
Yeah, I gotta have
gotta have that deck. Like what are your other options? Just like get kicked out everywhere. You could do DIY, but DIY spots like probably eventually going to get torn down.
Or you get hassled.
Yeah.
Or like I remember there was a bridge spot on Figueroa Street in downtown LA that was fantastic, and yeah, just like it ended up becoming a place where shit went down. And to your point earlier about doing presentations and decks, listen, we all have adult jobs and things like that, and a conversation that was happening in and around Connect Festival, the inaugural one in Bordeaux, back in 2024, was the idea of the hidden curriculum. And part of that hidden curriculum is decks, it's presentations, it's using phrases such as cultural patrimony, right? And talking about skateboarding in terms that elected officials, people who attend these city council meetings, talking about this stuff in ways that they can understand, but then also more importantly, because we're all adults, we're taxpayers, in some cases homeowners, it's like, you got to pull rank. You got to be like, listen, I'm not just some dumb kid that you can ignore. I'm a grown-ass adult, right? And I know how to talk about these things. And I think especially those of us who work in local, state, or federal government need to show up at stuff like this and drop knowledge, not only to teach the kids, but also to, more importantly, to teach the other adults about how to move and how to do this stuff. Because most importantly, every city has a dump that's filled with old benches and old ledges and stuff that can be reused. Just use that stuff. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I mean, we live in a country where people talk all the time about we need to be respectful and take care of taxpayer dollars. We need to be fiscally responsible. Okay, cool. Don't spend however many $1 million building some big ass park with a full pipe that nobody's going to skate.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this. We've recited this chapter and verse on this program. Like, doesn't take much for skaters to be happy. Just like a ledge, a little quarter, maybe a bank, you know, some more ledges.
You put the top of the former Muni ledges like on some smooth ground, like a 6-inch high, well skated granite block. Everybody's in nirvana. Yeah. Maybe the rapture happens. I don't know. Maybe it's a non-denominational rapture that just fucking happens. Like 16 kids grind it, and all of a sudden, like we go to the third age.
Yeah, I mean, and to Patrick's point before, like, for the longest, like, the stereotypical skater was like a fucking Jeff Spicoli stoner type of guy, and like that's just not the case anymore. Like look at what Pat Hyde did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
look at what we're fucking doing.
Yeah, Pat, who Jason just mentioned, I think sparked the Muni thing and was interviewed on Quarter Snacks, and go read that about doing the Muni thing. Yeah.
What do y'all have to say about people who debate this endlessly about, is it a spot, is it not a spot? Very similar to like some weeks ago we talked about when I went to the reopening of the West LA and revitalization of the West LA or Santa Monica courthouse. I was like, what do y'all think about the chatter about that?
I think that depends how like orthodox you are. Like if you're a super orthodox street skater, then you're like that's not a spot, doesn't count. Like footage there doesn't count. But if you're not so orthodox, you just like to skate ledges and have fun, then maybe it counts.
I mean, like, it's not going to be the same, clips at New Muni or whatever it's going to be called, not going to be the same as the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Skateboarding, it evolves. What, we're supposed to have the same spot for 50 years?
What is 50? Do we have a 50? Okay, no, I'm not gonna send us down that. We got to tighten up the game.
I don't think we do. But
it's after 10 p.m. CST. So.
But what about the banks?
Oh
yeah. Speaking of the banks, has it been 22 years since the small banks were skatable? After 22 years and
crazy.
And a ton of back-end support from the Skate Park Project, the Gotham Park Project, Vans, again, shout out Vans, and of course T. Rodriguez. In addition to countless others, the upper section of the Brooklyn Banks, aka the small banks, is renovated and skatable again. Mike, will you be sessioning there? I remember you talked about a New York trip on this program previously, an infamous New York trip.
Yeah, man, I would. I don't know. There's something about the small banks that is, I think, an evolution of thinking. I'll answer the question eventually, which is that, like, you like see tricks there and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they're doing tricks there. And then you're like, oh, are those real tricks? What are they doing? Like, that is such a weird thing. And then, like, eventually you're like, oh, wow, that spot's fucking stupid. That's going to be so hard. I think of a Jeff Pang kickflip fakie trick tips from 411 where he does, like, in my memory, it's a waist high Jeff Pang blindside kickflip. And that was the inspiration of so many blindside kickflips I've done. I would love to go to the small banks and probably frustrate the shit out of myself because they don't look easy to skate. I want to skate the bigger banks more, which, yeah, I went to a long time ago, as mentioned on this podcast. The whole thing is back. Yeah? That's the question?
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, like, I think it's kind of corny when people have nostalgia for stuff they didn't experience in the first place. I think it's, like,
right,
kind of performative. But, I mean, taken, like, at any rate, if you completely, decontextualize it, it's a fun spot. Like, there's really nothing like it. It's like a bank that you can kind of carve and go downhill with a channel. Or you can do, like, tricks to fakie or whatever. I kind of think, like, it was perfect for that, like, early 90s time where you could do, like, 360 flip to fakie, and it was, like, a good trick or whatever. But I think it'll be fun to go there and see if I can still do the tricks I used to do.
I mean, because you went there, like, you went to school in NYC, right?
Yeah, I went there, religiously, like, all the damn time.
Yeah. And for me, it was, taking the train or the bus in from the suburbs, and I remember, getting the lesson early. Didn't have to learn this the hard way. Never, ever give up your board. Kids, someone comes up to you and is like, yo, my man, what's good? Little homie, yo, let me see your board real quick.
That would be, actually, it would be kind of funny if people started, like, board jacking again.
Yeah,
down there.
We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it all the way back.
Yeah, if it's springtime and you got, like, a nice north face, like, shell, You know, in the case it rains, I'm taking that. No, I'm not. I I'm all about standing up to the bullies, and I got held up at knife point by a dude I used to skate with because that shit. Because he was messing with a friend of mine, and I got in his face, and then he took out a knife and said, "What's up now, homie?" Anyway, but back to the banks. I think because it's been such a miserable winter in literally half the country, but particularly in New York, and New York got hit real bad by this most recent winter. I think the kids are going to be outside. I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be wilding like back in the day, but I think the combination of the banks being open plus summertime weather, fresh white tee, some good like a fresh pair of shorts, a good jeans. Oh man, it's about to be like
a new Met fitted.
new Knicks fitted. Yo, the Knicks are going all the way.
Knicks Wolves finals is still in play.
NBA wearing an NBA fitted is crazy.
No, man, I think
I'm more of a snapback man, to be
still
honest.
I think Quarter Snacks still has that, collab.
Oh yeah.
US.
That was like a snapback. That was like a snapback or something.
You can still get that, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I have.
Ghost is not paying me to say that. I'm just like doing it in good faith.
Yeah, but Costa, if you want to send us each some just Knicks, just like Knicks anything, please do. But anyway, besides the point, yeah, it is. God, summertime's going to be great, and I think having spots like this, what's actually really nice? We're all adults; we can do whatever the hell we want. But you know what's nice for parents, and both of you guys are parents, to be like, hey, that place is not as crazy as it used to be. Hopefully you feel safe enough to be like, let me send my kid down there. Go have an afternoon. Go hang out at the banks. Go do your thing. Because definitely lower Manhattan is not as crazy as it used to be. And downtown Philadelphia is not as crazy as it used to be. So in the grand scheme of things, I think it's great. Yes to kids having a place to go and do their thing. Please.
Yeah, I think that they're probably not real skate spots because I'm ultra orthodox, apparently, when it comes down to this. But I don't know, more places to skate is still better than less places to skate, fewer places to skate because they're countable.
Bring it back to South Street Seaport ledges, and then we're good.
Put a little metal on there, do that. I still think Papalardo is the only dude to do the true backside 180 to frontside fakie 5-0 half cab out. A little stutter step, balancing it out. That was sick.
He just did a straight, no crooked grind. Yeah, I'm pretty sure skaters in New York would be stoked if someone put angle iron on the Seaport benches again. Who knows? Which brings us to the point of our show when we talk about what we're stoked on. Patrick, what are you stoked on this week?
This week I'm stoked on Spitfire wheels. Apparently it's going to rain on Sunday, which means I guess I got to skate Friday night because I'm trying to do some guitar stuff somewhere in here. The international break is over in football or soccer. Champions League has returned. I'm very excited. Arsenal remain unbeaten. My fingers are crossed. Super stoked on a newer shoegaze band from here in Los Angeles called Modati. They have a song called Pale Blue Afternoon that I've had on repeat for days. I saw them last night. We'll link to their music in the show notes. They are fantastic. Their album Opaque should be a must listen for this spring, especially if you love loud guitar music. I'm stoked on job hunting. I'm trying to do things a little bit differently. My consultantship with the U.S. Department of Education will be coming to an end next month. So yeah, I am returning into the job market, which should be interesting. Looking at state and local work. I think my time with the federal government is over for now. Also stoked on the impending return of May Gray. This is cooler temps and great skies for photography and filming skate stuff. And speaking of skate stuff, curb sessions, because Bellflower DMV is lit. Mike, what are you stoked on this week?
Shit, man. You're stoked on a lot of cool things. I'm stoked this week on. You got me thinking about shoegaze. I don't even know if I'm, in the right genre or not, but I'm kind of on a mini obsession with My Bloody Valentine. So I'm super stoked on.
Oh, you are.
Drive It All. What's that?
You are. You are in the correct lane.
Yeah. Drive It All Over Me. A little song. by My Bloody Valentine. It's off I'm looking right now. Well, 1988 EP, My Bloody Valentine. Also very stoked to have filed a story with quartersnacks.com this week. Got it off my fucking plate. God, it feels good to just get a well-sourced story off your plate when you're doing that, and that is like your part-time thing. So stoked to just have a story in the bag that's coming out next week or maybe a little later. I was stoked on something else, but I'm locked out of my notes because my MacBook Air is probably a decade old now and just isn't gonna let it up. But did go skate today. Got a frontside 50-50 to fakie on a concrete quarter pipe. Stoked on doing that. That's like a weird one. It's all foot positioning. If you can do that, you can do anything. Jason, what are you stoked on this week?
Stoked on Venture Trucks out of San Francisco, California. Also out of San Francisco, California. I recently set up one of those DBX decks from Deluxe Crooked. It's pretty fun. Look forward to skating it more. Stoked on going to the United Blood Hardcore Fest this weekend here in Richmond, Virginia. Hardcore music, that is. Always got to clarify that. For the civilians.
Not a nurses convention and or a blood drawers.
No. Stoked on DC, longtime DC local Jimmy Pelletier recently posted footage of a blind World Industries demo from Chantilly, Virginia in 1991 with like Kareem Campbell, Shallow Greathouse, Jason Lee, people like that. Pretty dope. And stoked on an interview with Rob Welsh in the new issue of Closer Skateboarding.
Shout out to Woo Welsh.
Yeah, shout out to Will. Shout out to Eric Swisher who did the interview as well. That's it for our show this week. Be sure to check mostlyskateboarding.net for links and other show notes. Until then, you can keep up with us online. Mike, where can the people find you?
I'm posting on Twitter and Instagram with the handle at @mmunzenrider. Patrick, where can the people find you?
You can find me probably on Instagram under the handle at @pkigongo or hanging out at Zebulon, where I've been seeing a lot of shows. And Mike, to your earlier point about Melody Valentine, Drive It All Over Me comes from the You Made Me Realize EP from 1988. Although you probably heard it on a compilation of all of their EPs from 88 to 91, Creation Records era. Jason, where can the people find you on Al Gore's internet?
On the Twitter at Carbright1994 and on Instagram at Frozen Carbonite and writing stuff for quartersnacks.com as well. See you guys in a couple weeks. Later.